only on ATN.
People into the country illegally. That is amazing.
Honorable
you human trafficker.
Honorable
You are a human trafficker.
They are not picking our calls. They made up their minds.
So no agreement.
Hello and welcome to Government and Public Service Reports right here in the city of Port Harcourt. News, events and stories abounding in the state system. ATN's appetite for in-depth, unbiased and factual reportage is a driving principle for this program, and in order to bring the government and the public activities to your doorstep. So right now we head to the top stories first. In Rivers State, Fubara to implement FG salary increase in Ebonyi State. Governor approves increment of civil servant salaries by 10,000 naira. In Lagos State, Governor Sanwo-Olu to host Justice Reform Summit. Concerning fuel scarcity, FG begins 15-day emergency PMS supply. To customs, NCS announces 90-day window for regularizing import duties. We'll be right back after this break. Don't go away.
From the line across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring on sport news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economy, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. ATN.
People into the country illegally. That is amazing.
Honorable
you human trafficker.
Honorable
You are a human trafficker.
They are not picking our calls. They made up their minds.
So no agreement with the EU, but
Welcome back, and now the details of our stories. Siminalayi Fubara has promised to implement the salary increase recently approved by the federal government for workers in the state. The governor spoke on Wednesday, May 1 at the Yakubu Gowon Stadium, Port Harcourt, during the 2024 International Workers' Day with the theme People First. The governor at the event was bestowed with an award as the Labour Champion of Rivers State and named the most Labour-friendly governor. He also received a gift of a Bible and a portrait from the state civil service. Fubara acknowledged workers as critical human resource that had continued to contribute immensely to the sustained long-term economic growth of the state. The governor said that workers remained indispensable from the production lines of small and big factories to government offices and institutions. Still on Rivers State, in commemoration of the 2024 World Malaria Day, Ministry of Health in conjunction with Ernst Ekpirikpo Health Foundation, partnering with the Association Community Pharmacists of Nigeria, Association of Female Medical Laboratories, Scientists of Nigeria, Faculty of Basic Clinical Science, Rivers State University, presents her third annual colloquium to talk about ways to achieve zero malaria across the country with the theme Uniting Forces, Healthcare Collaboration for Zero Malaria. Convener Aaron Spieth Ekperikbo said the third annual colloquium is aimed at deliberating necessary approach among stakeholders on ways to eliminate malaria endemic.
Well, basically, we're looking at seeing how we could bring stakeholders around the healthcare space, basically healthcare professionals, researchers, policymakers, community leaders to come in and stir up conversations around how to eliminate malaria in Rivers State, to make sure that we eradicate malaria in Rivers State and beyond. Basically, before now, we all know that around the world, Nigeria has one of the greatest burden of the malaria. It's actually endemic in this part of the world. But Rivers States have done well in terms of the primary health care that are now all over the local government, where malaria treated nets has been sent across. And of course, there is this program, I think it's called Reef Chip. In that program, they have this insurance scheme for citizens of the state where they can access these treatments for free. And of course, it is as a result of the good hand of the governor of the state.
Speaking on eliminating malaria, experts talks health practitioners on the need for collaboration and sensitization at community levels, including the roles of the state government in the fight against malaria.
When we educate the communities around us, when we take this message of malaria, just not only around the urban areas, but take them to the rural areas, then we will be able to have a buy-in of the communities, of the leaders. How do we do that? You know, these days, even if you're the best physician and all that, you tell your clients not to do this, not to do that. They actually go back to their leaders, the church leaders, to actually have that confirmation whether they should take the drugs or not, or to actually comply with what we have said or not. And so engaging the leaders in the community, like the churches, the mosques, the traditionalists, everyone is actually important.
So specifically or generally, we are intentional about following what the National Malaria Elimination Program says, their policies. You will agree that it's not only about Rivers State, it's about the 36 states and the FCT. So Rivers State is not about to reinvent the wheel. So the policies that guide the 36 states is what we key into. So basically, we always do that intention at the beginning of the year when the work plan has come and they say, this is where we feel there should be an emphasis. The state keys into that.
To tell he has malaria. Everything, malaria is blamed for everything. Some people even believe that witchcrafts, your village people can give you malaria.
We all know the scourge of malaria. Typically in the clinical setting, when you see 10 cases if you see 10 cases, I tell you up to half of it or more are cases of malaria. In children it's even worse. And it has contributed globally to the burden of disease, especially under 5 children. You know, a lot of deaths, you know, from malaria. And so hence the world set this day aside to celebrate it and sensitize people, create awareness, and then bring in some of intersectoral collaboration to see how the burden of the malaria scourge can be reduced or to be nipped. But at the point we are talking about prevention and all that, but currently we are talking about elimination of
Delta State workers on the payroll of the state on Wednesday disagreed with Governor Sheriff Oborewori over his inability to make policy statement on minimum wage. The 2024 May Day celebration with theme People First featured march past by the various affiliate unions in the state. The workers, who were desperately expecting Governor Oborewori to announce a new minimum wage, got aggrieved when he ended his address at the 2024 Workers' Day celebration in Asaba without making reference to the new wage. Disrupting the governor's address, the workers started chanting, "No, no, no, we no go agree," pay us our minimum wage after the governor insisted that the workers should not cajole the achievements of the immediate past administration by improving the state's economy. Wifuru described the workers as partners in progress who deserve to be appreciated for their sacrifices. He assured the people of regular promotions, prompt payment of salaries, pensions and gratuities. He disclosed that the gratuities of those who had retired between January 2024 and now had been paid completely. Presently, we are paying salaries, pensions, and gratuities as at when due, and we do not owe anyone while we are waiting for the outcome of the negotiation on minimum wage, he said. The governor further promised to look into the request of 10,000 increment in their individual salary. In a joint speech by the Nigeria Labour Congress also and the Trade Union Congress, Ebonyi State chapters, read by the NLC chairman, Professor Ogugwa Ego, he stated that the theme of the event, People First, is an expression of the absolute need to prioritize the people in the spheres of life. He appealed to the state governor for the engagement of more teachers in public and primary and secondary schools in the state to enhance the welfare packages of the workers. He also requested for the implementation of judiciary autonomy, approved welfare packages of the judiciary workers, and recalled some staff of Ebonyi State University who were suspended over their involvement in union activities. He invigorated Ebonyi State College of Education for middle-class manpower training and harmonized gratuity management scheme in the state council areas, among others. The Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu will host a Justice Reform Summit on May 27 and May 28, 2024. The summit is titled Enhancing the Administration of Justice for Economic Growth, Investment, Protection and Security in Lagos State. This is according to a statement issued by the Solicitor General and Permanent Secretary, Lagos State Ministry of Justice, Titilayo Shetibe Jeje, on Wednesday. She said that Sanwo-Olu would be the chief host at the summit, which would take place at the Marriott Hotel GRA, Ikeja, Lagos. According to her, the chairman's son would be the special guest of honor. Shetibe Jeje said the Lagos State government had become a pathfinder for justice reform following its various landmark and innovative achievements over the years. However, being the economic nerve center of Nigeria, there are real and new challenges to address. Hence, the summit was conceptualized to explore a diverse perspective towards effective and efficient administration of justice for economic growth, security, governance, and investment protection in Lagos State, and by extension, the whole of Nigeria, the statement said. On Tuesday, the AGF Fagbemi reiterated that the administration of President Bola Tinubu was committed to promoting just in Ogun State. The Minister of State for Petroleum and Gas, Ekperikpe Ekpo, disclosed this on Wednesday in Abeokuta in Ogun State capital. Ekpo had visited Abeokuta for an on-the-spot assessment of last Saturday's CNG explosion at Itaoshin, with at least one person reported dead and several injured. He noted that in the future, firms seeking gas licenses should be able to pipe their products to end users without virtual transportation. The minister said victims of the explosion will be compensated. As a federal government, he said, we are trying all we can to ensure we reduce the virtual transportation of gas because of its volatility, especially with the Ajaokuta-Kaduna-Kano pipeline. I have directed the authority chief executive that for any further issuance of a license, the company should be competent enough to pipe it to their end users so that we are no longer exposed to this kind of danger. As a ministry, we are looking at how we can reduce a lot of virtual conveyance of gas. That's why we are putting much effort into developing the gas pipeline infrastructure so that the transportation would not be virtual but through the pipelines. This will reduce this kind of incident, he said, and remove the pressure on our roads. Violence erupted in the Ilepo area of Lagos State on Thursday, leading to numerous injuries and significant damage after hoodlums clashed within a local market in the axis. The confrontation, which began on Wednesday night, continued unabated into Thursday morning, culminating in the arson as several shops and merchandise were set on fire by the warring hoodlums. According to eyewitnesses, the skirmish escalated quickly with groups setting ablaze multiple storefronts. It was chaos, they said. Flames were everywhere and all you could hear were screams and the shattering of glass, said one of the vendors at the market, who preferred to remain anonymous for safety reasons. Police efforts to quell the unrest were met with resistance. Our team was dispatched promptly, but the intensity of the mob and their hostility hampered our intervention efforts, as a Lagos State Police spokesperson stated. The police were investigating the cause of the fight and have vowed to restore order. Additionally, emergency services face severe impediments. Our Lagos State Fire Service truck was forced to retreat after a hostile crowd attacked it with stones. We attempted to access the scene to douse the flames, but it became too dangerous to proceed, explained a firefighter at the scene. Authorities were currently assessing the extent of the damage and have promised to increase security in the area to prevent further escalation. The market remains closed until further notice as cleanup and investigations continue. The organized labor in Kogi State has demanded the immediate implementation of 35,000 wage award for workers in the state. Addressing the May Day rally on Wednesday in Lokoja, the Kogi State chairman of the Nigeria Labour Congress, Gabriel, meeting workers' basic needs in view of the current economic realities. He cited the March report of the National Bureau of Statistics indicating that inflation in the country had climbed up to 33.4%. We advocate the immediate implementation of the 35,000 naira wage, he said, as directed by the federal government. This adjustment is not only fair, but also urgent, given the rising cost of goods and services, which continuously erode the purchasing power of workers. Until the long-awaited negotiations for a new minimum wage are concluded and put into effect, the wage award would serve as a temporary relief for workers grappling with the current economic hardships, Amari said. He urged the Kogi State government to align itself with other states that had complied with President Bola Tinubu's directive for the payment of wage awards to workers across the country. By doing so, Kogi would demonstrate its commitment to the welfare and well-being of its workforce, the NLC chairman said. The organized labor in Niger State has given the government 24 hours to commence state indefinitely. The state chairman of the union, Comrade Idris Lafeni, gave the ultimatum during a low-key celebration of the 2024 International Workers' Day in Mina, the event held at Justice Legbo Kutigi International Center instead of the usual 123 quarters parade ground. The contributory healthcare scheme was introduced by the immediate past governor of the state, Alhaji Abubakar Sani Bello, where 2% of civil servant salary was being deducted. According to Lafeni, we woke up today with reports from some of our members that NICARE has started deducting their money. This was not the agreement we had with the Niger State government. We're calling on the state government to refund our monies as well as bring those that masterminded such illegal deductions to book, or the program will never see the light of day. Niger State Governor Mohamed Umar Bago, who was represented by the head of service of parcels of land acquired for the government's development projects. The news agency of Nigeria reports that the compensation is an offer of grants to the landowners under the land swap compensation policy along the Rigasa-Mando Link Road of the Western Sector Development Plan of the state. Issuing the allocation letters to the beneficiaries on Tuesday in Kaduna, the Director General of Kaduna Geographical Information Service, Dr. Bashir Ibrahim, said the exercise marked the fulfillment of promises made by Governor Obasani. He He said the gesture was aimed at relieving the plight of the affected landholders. Ibrahim added that beneficiaries of the policy would continue to enjoy a complete waiver of application processing fees of 20,000 naira and a premium of 500 naira per square meter of land. Previously, the list of batch 7 beneficiaries was approved under the 30% rate in the same area, and today we are flagging off the distribution of 1,146 allocations to 133 landowners who participated in the exercise for the development of the state, adding that the list of the beneficiaries shall be at the local government secretariats, district heads, and Kadgi's office for further verification. The DG said, as directed by the governor, Kadgi's would remain focused to expedite action until every landholder collected their 30% compensation. He said the government demanded the national identity numbers to ensure that those to be compensated were the actual owners of the lands. Also, the Director of Land Administration of Kadgi's, Mr. Omar Abubakar, said compensation was hitherto in the form of cash, but the government later felt it was better to pay the compensation with land. The district head of Rigasa, Alhaji Idris, thanked the state government for the compensation. He said it relieved them of accusations of betrayal by their followers who thought they conspired with the government to seize their lands. 2 students of Audu Bako College of Agriculture, Makoda, on Wednesday drowned in Thomas Dam in Kano State while attempting to cross the dam in a boat. The Public Relations Officer, Kano State Fire Service, Saminu Abdullahi, confirmed the incident in a statement on Wednesday. He said the victims were identified as Abubakar Sanusi, 22, and Salusi Ado, 21. Their third colleague, Ibrahim, 21, was rescued alive and is currently receiving medical attention at Dambatar General Hospital, the PRO said. He explained that Sanusi and Salisu were rescued unconscious and later succumbed to their injuries. The PRO emphasized that the service had commenced investigation into the cause of the incident. As Nigerian workers nationwide clamor for a new minimum wage, the Nigerian Labour Congress has criticized the Zamfara state government for maintaining a minimum wage of 8,000 naira for primary school teachers across its 14 local government areas. The chairman of NLC in Zamfara State, Sani Haliru, while speaking at the JB Secretariat in Gusau on Wednesday during the Workers' Day celebration, expressed disappointment that despite efforts, primary school teachers in the state were still earning a paltry 8,000 naira as monthly salary. He stated in his words, despite the pressure mounted on both the past and the present administrations, our colleagues at the primary school level are still collecting 8,000 naira as monthly salary. The NLC chairman urged Governor Dauda Lawal to implement the current 30,000 naira national minimum wage for Zamfara school teachers, pointing out their dedication despite the meager pay. He added workers in Zamfara State are waiting for the NLC national leadership to take a stand on the proposed 750,000 naira new minimum wage in the country. In response, Governor Lawal commended the state's civil service for their hard work and dedication despite facing numerous challenges. He assured them of his administration's commitment to their welfare. Governor Lawal stated, and I quote in his words, "I will not promise you what I cannot sustain, but I am assuring you that I will surprise you." Meanwhile, the chairman of the Nigeria Labour Congress in Gombe State, Yusuf Aish, has called for the full implementation of the 30,000 naira minimum wage. Aish made ancestral claims has reignited long-standing conflict between the TV and Junkun communities. The spark came from alleged contentious statement attributed to Junkun Youths and Cultural Development Association targeting the Taraba State Tiv Cultural and Social Association. The JYCDA statements, which circulated widely on social media and also published in a national correspondence reports, allegedly challenged the ancestral heritage of the Tiv people in the state. In response, the Taraba Tiv Youth Development Forum on Sunday issued a rebuttal accusing the JYCDA of spreading misinformation and inciting animosity towards the TIV community. The TTYDF particularly condemned the labeling of TIV individuals, including internally displaced persons, as bandits, and the reported obstruction of their return to ancestral lands in Wukari Council. Led by its president Okuma Lupa Moses, the TTYDF reaffirmed the historical presence of the TIV people in the state and incited instances where TIV leaders had supported the Junko community during conflicts. They vehemently rejected claims portraying the TIV as mere settlers or migrants in the region. TTYDF also criticized the Junko youths for allegedly attempting to besmirch the reputation of Senator George Akume, the secretary to the government of the Federation, by alleging bias in favor of the TIV community. The called for unity and urged the state government to expedite efforts to facilitate the return, resettlement, and rehabilitation of displaced TIV individuals. Amidst the escalating tensions, the TTYDF emphasized the need for dialogue and mutual understanding to address the underlying grievances between the two communities. They also underscored the importance of embracing diversity and fostering peace in the state. There's more news, but don't forget you can connect with us and watch us on ATN socials, Facebook and YouTube, Atlantic Television Network, Instagram and TikTok, Atlantic TV Network 1, X, Atlantic Network.tv. You can also watch us live on our website, atlanticnetwork.tv. You're watching Government and Public Service Reports on ATN. We'll be right back right after this break. Don't go anywhere.
From the line across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring on-the-spot news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economy, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today, only on ATN.
People into the country illegally. That is amazing.
Honorable
You human trafficker.
Honorable
You're a human.
on them. They are not picking our calls. They made up their mind.
So no agreement with the EU, but
Every day, our lives are changed by history.
We are one people, all of us.
Leaders, politics.
Nobody's ambition is what they blood.
I have fought very firmly. Natural occurrence, war, and the world economy.
From the line across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring on-the-spot news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economy, sports, and stay focused on the fact today, only on ATN.
these people into the country illegally. That is amazing.
Honorable
You human
On the point of order.
Honorable
Service reports now to the rest of our stories. The Inspector General of Police, IGP, has told a federal high court in Abuja that the military forcefully took away some suspects allegedly involved in oil bunkering from police custody. Counsel to the IGP, Idris Mohammed, revealed this to Justice James Omotosha when the matter was called for the alleged oil bunkers to take their plea in a 5-count criminal charge filed against them. The IGP had in an earlier charge listed 19 alleged oil bunkerers for prosecution. They include MT Harbour Spirit Mohammed, Malik Siddiq, Jaju Oil and Gas Limited, Shitu Joseph, amongst others. Also joined on the criminal charge dated and filed February 15 are Edon Simeon Amon Adedeji, Nathaniel Thompson, F. Young Ekpo Otu, Priye Moses Egbuson Opufoni Owe, Abiodun Razak, Youngstar Amon Collins, Ebuka Eluche, and Tahir Rashid Balogun as 11th to 19th defendants respectively. However, the police in an amended charge dated and filed February 28 brought criminal charges against only MT Harbour Spirit of Vessel Mohammed, Malik Siddiq and Joju Oil Gas Limited as first to third defendants respectively. In the amended charge, count 1 read that MT Harbour Spirit, Mohammed Malik Siddiq, Joju Oil and Gas Limited, and the 4th to 19th defendants in the earlier charge on February 4, 2024, in the deep sea in Ogbogoro oil field brass area of Bayelsa State, conspired to tamper with oil pipeline for the transportation of crude oil. The offense, according to the prosecution, is punishable under Section 1, subsection of the Miscellaneous Offences Act, Cap M17 laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004. In count 2, the defendants and others now at large were alleged to have on February 4 in the deep sea in Ogbogoro oil field brass area willfully tampered with OML 59 Ogbogoro 001 oil fields operated by ELF for the transportation of crude oil. In count 3, the defendants were alleged to be dealing in about 80,000 liters of crude oil without lawfully authority for appropriate license. Count 5 accused the defendants of storing about 80,000 liters of crude oil in Harbour Spirit cargo tanks in Ogbogoro oil field without appropriate license, contrary to Section 4 of the Petroleum Act, Cap P. Armed forces took them to their custody. Are they at large? At large is when somebody cannot be traced, the judge said. The IGP's lawyer thereafter sought the leave of court to amend the amended charges in open court, but the judge observed more anomalies with the charge sheet and then ordered the prosecution to go and put his house in order. The Senate President Godswill Akpabio has assured Nigerian workers that the National Assembly and the executive arm of government to give them a living wage and better working conditions. The Senate President declared that no Nigerian worker will again be allowed to work under inhuman conditions. He made a declaration in a statement on Wednesday by his special advisor on media and publicity, Eseme Eyibo, to congratulate the workers as they commemorate the 2024 May Day. Akpabio in the message extolled the sterling qualities that stood out to the Nigerian workers, saying a Nigerian worker is noted for his patriotism, hard work, resilience, and dedication to duty. I am happy to be associated with the Nigerian workers in the last more than 25 years, and I can attest to the fact that everywhere you go, the Nigerian workers' spirit resonates profoundly. Speaking on this year's theme for Workers' Day, ensuring safety and health at work in a changing climate, Akpabio promised that the National Assembly under his leadership was more than committed to ensuring the best working conditions for the Nigerian workers. The Senate President reiterated that the theme for this year's celebration was apt and in tune with the international best practices, assuring that Nigeria would not be left behind. As fuel scarcity continues to bite harder in different locations, the federal government says it has begun a 15-day emergency fuel supply to ensure the commodity circulates across the length and breadth of the country. The government also disclosed that vessels importing premium motor spirit would continue to berth at the shore to discharge petrol to different depots from where the product would be distributed to different filling stations. The Major Energy Marketers Association of Nigeria had in a statement on Tuesday said its members in Apapa and other locations in Lagos had been receiving 300 million liters of fuel from 8 vessels this week. This was after the Southwest Regional Coordinator of the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority, Ayo Cardoso, confirmed to one of our correspondents that aside from the 240 million liters offloaded at various depots on Monday, close to 85 million liters of petrol were offloaded as of Tuesday evening. However, correspondents observed on Wednesday that the queues in filling stations were yet to subside even as Nigerians celebrated May Day. And as of Wednesday afternoon, it was observed that roads in Ogun, Lagos, and others were deserted as vehicles lined up in filling stations to buy fuel. Some individuals said that they had parked their vehicles pending the availability of petrol. Also, the few filling stations where the fuel was available so that prices considered to be too exorbitant. But in an interview with one of our correspondents, the NMPDRA's Cardoso insisted that the product would soon be available across the nooks and crannies of the country, saying the government was doing its best to ensure massive distribution of PMS. Cardoso disclosed that more vessels would keep arriving in Nigeria for 2 weeks, starting from last Monday. This, he said, would include continuous distribution of petrol to filling stations. According to him, each state of the Federation has its allocations, saying the same will be delivered to reduce the queues at filling stations. Meanwhile, the House of Representatives Committee on Petroleum Resources, Downstream and Midstream, has called on security agencies to pick up borders of the premium motor spirit, also known as petrol. The committee also assured Nigerians of the availability of petrol in stock, stressing that the logistical challenges which made the product scarce were being addressed. Addressing a press conference at the National Assembly Complex Abuja on Wednesday, the co-chair of the committee and chairman House Committee on Petroleum Resources and other key stakeholders in the distribution chain to ensure that acts of economic sabotage that has to do with hoarding, arbitrary increment in price, products diversion and smuggling are detected and dealt with. Our people have been through a lot in the last few days, and we must not plunge them into further pains. We appeal to all traders and those rendering services not to unduly take advantage of this temporary challenge, which will be cleared in the next few days. The committees assured Nigerians that the challenges would be over soon, noting that regulators in the value chain had pledged to address the issues. The Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board has urged Nigerians to be wary of any candidate parading printed result slips, as currently the result is not in any paper format. JAM spokesperson Dr. Fabian Benjamin, in a statement on Wednesday, said the information became necessary as some individuals were already circulating printed result slips on social media. Benjamin said, unlike last year, the results at the moment are not and cannot be found on the JAM's website. He said the board once again wishes to state clearly that the only way to check the 2024 UTME result is to send UTME results to 55019 or 66019 using the same phone used by the candidate in registering for the UTME. Ensure that the same is not any bundle. This is different from what obtained last year, hence the results at the moment and cannot be found on the board's website. Candidates are urged to follow the methods specified above to obtain their results, he said. They need not visit any cyber cafe or patronize any third-party entity to check their results, he re-emphasized. A reasonable number of candidates have checked their results as seen on our monitoring dashboard. For the few still struggling, please follow the right channel. Recall JAMB on Monday announced the release of the 2024 UTME results. The registrar, Prof. Ishak Oloyede, said the results of the examination were withheld by the board and will be subjected to investigation. Socialite and nightlife promoter Cubana Chief Priest arrived at the Federal High Court Ikoyi, Lagos for the continuation of his alleged Naira abuse trial. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission had on April 16 filed a 3-count charge against Pascal Okechukwu over alleged abuse. He was arraigned the following day at the Federal High Court in Lagos and pleaded not guilty to the charges. The judge thereafter granted him bail in the sum of 10 million naira with 2 responsible sureties in like sum. The judge ruled that the bail conditions must be perfected within 7 days and adjourned to May 2 for continuation. Peter Obi, the presidential candidate of Labour Party in 2023 election, has blamed bad road infrastructure and insecurity under President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration for the death of 35 persons from accidents in Kogi and Enugu states. Obi disclosed this in several posts on his X handle on Wednesday. Recall that accidents in Kogi on Sunday claimed 19 persons, while that in Enugu led to the death of 16 persons on Tuesday. Peter Obi, the presidential candidate in the 2023 election, has blamed this infrastructure and insecurity issue under the presidency for the death of the said persons in Kogi and Enugu states. Obi disclosed this in several posts on his X handle on Wednesday. Recall that the accidents on Kogi on Sunday claimed 19 persons, while that in Enugu led to the death of 16 persons, respectively, on Tuesday. According to him, the nation's resources should be channeled to build internal roads, not the Lagos-Calabar coastal superhighway. I have just confirmed 2 very gory road accidents in Kogi and Enugu states, respectively, that claimed the lives of 35 persons. The Kogi incident happened on Sunday along Okene Lokoja Bay, when 19 persons were roasted alive, he lamented, while the other occurred along Insuka Enugu Road in Enugu State on Tuesday, claiming the lives of 16 persons, he lamented. The Enugu State Police Command and Kogi State Federal Service Corps have confirmed the 2 accidents. Even though the cause of the accidents is yet to be unknown, it must not be unconnected with the bad conditions of roads and insecurities, he lamented further. This is why I continue to shout out that our meager resources should be channeled at priority areas to fix our roads, to make them passable before going for super high projects, which will take the chunk of the resources meant for these essential areas. My heart goes to the families of the deceased and the injured, and as I pray to God to give them the strength to bear the huge loss. My condolences also go to the governments and the people of Kogi and Enugu states, he added. Obi has disagreed with the Nigerian federal government, you would recall, on the rationale for constructing the 700-kilometer Lagos-Calabar coastal highway. However, the Nigerian government accused Obi of inciting Igbos against the Tinubu government. The Nigeria Customs Service, under the directive of the Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, has announced a 90-day window for regularizing import duties on specific categories of vehicles. The window is meant to streamline import processes. A statement by the National Public Relations Officer of the Nigeria Customs Service, Chief Superintendent of Customs Abdullahi Maiwada, on Sunday said, this initiative applies solely to vehicles imported into Nigeria where the requisite customs duty has not been fulfilled, or vehicles detained due to the undervaluation. The Nigeria Customs Service, under the directive of the Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, has announced this 90-day window to regularize import duties on specific categories of vehicles. This is meant to streamline import processes. A statement by the National Public Relations of the Nigeria Customs Service Chief Superintendent